Hi, this is Scott with Android Guys. I'm here with Luke.
Hey.
Luke, what
up?
time it is?
I do. It's time to hang.
It's time to hang with the guys.
Hang with the guys.
Freeform podcast.
Yep.
This doesn't have any real structure other than we set out with a couple of notes of things that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Or things that were like, I did this last week.
Right.
But we usually kind of touch base at the start with things that are going on.
Yeah.
Around the office, around personal lives. And then we move into other things that we've been consuming or doing.
Mm-hmm.
And things we're looking forward to. It's really weird to think about. We are this time next week. We will have had Spider-Man. And it's like it feels like a long time ago. We were like looking ahead,
right?
And it's like and then just a few days after that, we've got The Matrix.
Oh, I know.
And then the following week, we've got the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh man! And then we're in 2022.
And then there's just a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. So what you been up to, man?
Oh, not a whole lot, really. So we've kind of altered the office a little bit.
Yeah. Looking around, it's different than it was 2 weeks ago, and it's different than it was 1 week ago.
Right. Yeah, we've gotten in some, we got another desk in from FlexiSpot.
Yep.
And we're reviewing that. It's cool. It's like a 2-tiered desk. So it's,
and it also stands. It's a rising desk.
And it's a standing desk. It's got a motor in it, adjustable. This
is our second FlexiSpot desk.
Dude, they're quality.
Yeah.
They're like very simple to put together.
Mm-hmm.
Provided you have the right tools. So we ran into that when we were putting this one together. They're really good about having, it's what you would think from, most desk manufacturers. It's like a top that's like a nice finished veneer kind of finish, but probably the top is mostly just particle board underneath.
Right.
And they have, pre-drilled holes for almost everything, except for one piece, or actually
like
two different
bar.
spots. A support bar, then to attach some other bars, there weren't pre-drilled, so we needed to get something with some power in it.
Yeah,
because we couldn't do it with just a hand screwdriver. But other than that, they give you all the Allen wrenches. Everything's put in a bag with all the
all the hardware is labeled
A
nicely.
screws, B screws, C screws, it's very, very easy to put together. The instructions are, good visuals. You can tell, like where, sometimes it's hard to know like where those screws go in certain ones, but with theirs, it's pretty straightforward. But yeah, we got it together, and this thing, like, I keep looking over at it.
Well, I'm staring at it as you talk because it's replaced this glass desk that we had.
Yeah,
a big L corner
and it's
piece.
So much smaller. This is like a 48 by 24 desk, but that 24 is cut in half because it's tiered. There's a regular kind of your main desk space, and then
it's like
a
16 and 8 maybe.
Yeah, it's like you can adjust the height, but how we have it set seems like it's like 5 or 6 inches up from the main desk.
Yeah. And
it's just this back 8-inch ledge or so on the back that, you can put a monitor on and a succulent and, some other stuff.
Some set dressing for photos.
Right.
Yep.
But it looks nice back over there. And
but we were talking about how quiet the motor is.
It is very quiet and very fast.
Yeah.
Like not so fast that you feel like stuff would fall over.
Yeah.
But
and smooth.
Very
that's
smooth,
why I put that
and
plan
very
on
quick.
there.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's see if that falls off at all or shimmies while it goes up. But it's got a nice quick motor, quiet.
Yep.
It also has memory.
Yeah, you can have up to 4 different settings for different heights that you would want. If it's a shared workspace, people can have up to 4 different heights for people, or if it's
standing and sitting,
standing and sitting, or whatever.
Yep.
It's pretty cool, and it's quality made. They give you and everything's thought out. There's trays for the power bank. There's trays for, cable management. They give you some cable management zip tie kind of things. Like it's all very, very streamlined in the design.
Well, this is actually not the second product. We actually received a chair from them at one point too.
Right.
And this is a brand that I hadn't even heard of.
Right.
And I'm really falling in love with because they're just quality office stuff.
Right.
And office stuff isn't cheap.
No.
I mean, we looked at the price of this desk and it's about $299.
Yeah.
But that's par for the course.
Right.
The desk that we're sitting at, I bought this thing probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it was like 600 and maybe 650 or something.
Yeah.
It's a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And a little bit longer there generally, but you're looking at hundreds of dollars for a nice standing desk, and the FlexiSpot ones are much quieter than this thing when we go to set it up for recording.
Right.
So yeah, I kind of like it. I kind of like the way the room, at least transitionally, the way the room flows.
Yeah, we got some shelving in here, and we're trying to organize, and we've shifted over. If you've been paying attention to Android Guys in general, trying to add more media. And so with that, it's okay, how do we use the space that we have more effectively? And so we're, condensing and moving things around. And we brought in, you brought in some Novastella lights that you had that we had, we reviewed last year, and, using those for some like color cast mood stuff, and
we're vibing here today.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's weird, working in an office setting. I've worked in a couple different offices, and it's weird how much just changing something around reinvigorates your desire to work. If you've been working some way for a while and you feel like you can't get something done in your office, or you're, just having trouble concentrating, or you keep running into that thing that you're like, man, I wish this was different. I wish it was, this light always comes in this spot. Like, move your stuff around. Just change some stuff around, and you'd be amazed at how much, fixing little inconveniences make you think, oh, I'm ready to work now.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's the once a day something gets added to the main desk.
Yeah.
And it's a couple papers here, and then it's these headphones showed up, so I need to make sure I don't forget to take pictures of these.
Right.
So they're sitting there. And then there's the box cutter from opening up yesterday's stuff.
Right.
Next thing you know, the desk is just so cluttered, and if you turn, it's there. Mentally, for me, I'm just like a mess.
Yeah.
I get just as cluttered as the desk.
Yep.
So I like, a couple weeks ago, I sent you a picture. I said, here's what the office looks like today.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like that at all today.
No.
I don't want to say it's in shambles, but it's transitioning to something else.
Yep.
And we also realize that sometimes, we sit on boxes of things longer than we should or need to.
Yep.
Because we're like, that might go back.
Yeah.
Or I want to hold on to it just in case there's a problem. Or I don't know.
Yeah.
Because the box is really cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's very intentional design.
Right.
And it's like, that actually, if I ever do video, that might be cool to have in the background. That's where we're heading.
Right. Exactly.
Figuring out how do we decorate the set.
Right.
And work with the space that we have, because we've got a lot of space here. We just got to figure out how we use it.
Yeah.
And I think we're on the right track.
Yeah.
I have a couple things that I've been reviewing that I'm not quite ready to do the full review, but I've been playing with Master Dynamics' new gaming headphones.
Oh, yeah.
Man, those things are awesome.
Master and Dynamic is a company that is just, their stuff is just so nice.
Yeah. And, when I go to write reviews, I even said in one of them a time or two back that it's kind of like, I sound like a broken record when I say some of these things. But how do I not say these things?
Yeah.
That stuff's backed by 2-year warranties. The material is premium. The sound is amazing. I mean, it's a luxury brand, a premium brand.
Well,
but they sound,
and they look nice too.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you get those luxury items that, you know, some designer, you know, kind of took a chance on, and they look a little like kind of weird.
Yeah.
But these look sleek. They're, you know,
they and all of their stuff kind of looks. They're each unique, but they all have the same language. When you look at them all, you think, yep, that's the same team that's been designing these for the last 4 years.
Right.
And I love them. They have when I first set them up, I paired them to a phone, took them home, and my son sees them, and he's like, ooh, new headphones. And I was like, read the box. He's like, gaming. He's like, I got to see what these sound like. And I'm like, let me do it first.
Yeah.
You know, and I, a couple of nights ago, he comes downstairs and it's like 10 o'clock. He's like, hey, I was going to go play some games. You want me to review those for you? I was like, let me do it first.
Yeah.
So I made a point to check out the audio, you know, so I paired it to a phone. And the first thing I did was like, I'll pull up our podcast, you know, whatever's in Google Podcasts, and see how it sounds. And I was like, uh-oh, did we mix that podcast weird?
Yeah.
Or is there something going on with the headphones? And then I checked the app to see if there's an EQ setting. It's a gaming mode, which is different than the audio mode. There's a button on there that switches it to 7.1 sound.
Yeah.
And all I did was push that on, and it was just like
fixed.
I was just like, oh, this sounds awesome.
Nice.
So I was like, at first I'm like, oh no, this is
this what it always sounds like? Oh no.
Yeah, is our podcast? Or then the other part was like, uh-oh.
Did I get a bad set
did Master Dynamic have their first misstep?
Right.
No. It was just a setting, but they're super comfortable.
Yeah.
The pair that we have, they're white. And I told my son, I was like, can you imagine some gamer playing with these?
Just they're orange and white by the end of it. Just Cheeto fingers.
Yep. Just touching the ear cups and just kind of adjusted them on their head.
Yeah.
That's what he was like. I'll review them. He's like, I promise I won't get any like Cool Ranch on it or anything. I'm like, no, let Dad do it first. You know, because I still want to get some more photos.
Right.
But I will tell him probably the next time I see him here. You want to go try it on your PlayStation, see what you think.
Right.
But yeah, those are a lot of fun. I've watched a fair amount of TV lately.
Yeah.
I want to almost say more than I would like to admit.
Sure.
But it's cold outside, and the days are short, and the nights are long.
Right. Yeah.
It's pajama season at 4:30.
Right.
You know, and so this past weekend I took in 3 of the Music Box documentaries on HBO.
Oh wow, yeah.
And series on Netflix showed up on Friday. I binged that entire thing.
Oh man.
But they were okay, so some of them were on like 15 minutes.
Okay.
And there were like 5 or 6 of them. Yeah. So pump the brakes over there.
Hey, there's no judgment here. We all do our fair share of media ingestion.
What have you been watching? I'll let you go first.
Okay. So I watched 2 movies and then a couple of TV shows. I'm still, working my way through. I'm working my way through Vikings. Still.
Oh.
That's I think I'm on middle of season 3 or something now. And then keeping up on Hawkeye.
Yep. There's like 2 left now, right?
Yeah. We saw some cool stuff happen last episode with somebody showed up that we didn't expect.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that at all.
We didn't
Not
talk
even
about
offline.
it.
What did you think about that?
I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see. That is not the first outside the story person I thought we would see. And so it kind of threw me off of like, oh, what does the rest of this season look like? Knowing there's only 2 more episodes.
Yeah.
Is it like
did this train get derailed? And we
are we working
subvert our expectations?
Are we working towards this reveal of the, maybe the big bad that we think we're going to see? Is that like a teaser for season 2 of it or something?
Yeah.
Or like because easily the situation that came up with this last episode, I could see it 2 episodes to clean that up.
Mm-hmm. And then
we get back to our story.
Cliffhanger
maybe.
of
right.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting where it is right now.
Did I had an idea who I thought that was on that scene?
Yeah.
Before the reveal.
Oh, okay.
And it's somebody from the show that we're already watching.
Yeah.
And I thought, there's only how many other female characters in that show? Who else might it be?
Mm.
And then when she did something to that character,
mm-hmm.
and kind of, it's
mm-hmm.
kind of hard to not talk in spoilers
right,
here.
I know.
But
we saw a piece of tech that we're familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
That's right. And then I wonder how that would have played had that property been released at the time it was originally released.
Right?
Like, it almost feels like it's better served now having...
Yeah.
And if you're listening and have no idea what we're talking about, I am so sorry.
This is a very hard thing to listen to if you're not watching Hawkeye.
It's tough to dance around. We should have... shame on us for not doing this offline because now I'm excited and want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But, I do love the shows. It's a more intimate story.
Yep.
The stakes don't have to feel like there's a whole world at stake.
Right.
That it's just kind of like, here's what goes on in the regular lives.
Mm-hmm.
And here's how they still deal with things.
Right.
But yeah, man, I'm digging that one.
Yeah. So I watched that. I watched some Vikings, which is great. And then I saw a movie. So I've been watching Vikings on Hulu. And then I saw a movie advertised on Hulu that just came to Hulu, and it has the same actor who plays Ragnar in Vikings. I don't have his name, but you can look it up if you want. He's in the movie, and so is Alexandria Daddario,
mm-hmm.
and a couple other people that you would recognize from other things. The movie is called Die in a Gunfight, and it came out this year. It came out 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, and the styling of it, there's some like neonish colors and some very artistic kind of poster art. And so I was like, all right, I'll give this a shot, And man, it is not good.
It's a stinker. Yeah,
man. I'm one of those people that I will always watch the whole movie because I don't know. I understand what goes into making a movie. And I feel like once you start it, you give it a fair shake because, it's hard to know, like, because maybe it'll redeem itself. I've watched plenty of movies where it's like you get into them and you're like, man, I don't love this. It feels slow, or this is not
what
I thought it was.
Halfway through, it just really changes.
Right. Yeah. And so I have gotten, over the years, I don't even think about stopping anything anymore. It's just, waiting for it to pan out. Well, this one never does. It's it's hard to explain. It's kind of the idea of Romeo and Juliet
mm-hmm.
mixed with kind of like the intertwining stories of Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels or Snatch, where there's...
Give this, like, it's a wannabe Guy Ritchie film, kind of...
It's a wannabe cool film. Like, it's very... Every character is a character. Everything is a little hyper-realized version of a character. It's got...
Everybody looks great in the lighting.
Yes. The lighting is always unique. Everybody looks good. Everybody's cool. The sets are cool. Everything.
They're saying the right things.
Yeah. And it feels like they just wanted to do so much in the movie, and they didn't censor themselves at all.
Nobody was there to check them on.
Yeah, there's some animated stuff that comes in throughout the movie, like animated, like kind of storyboard style or graphic novel style stuff, mixed in with some narration, and then the rest of the movie. It just feels like there's so much going on, and it's just not enough of a story to make you care.
So some of those elements, those exact words, even that we're saying, we could say of other movies, and then it works.
Yeah.
When you say there's an anime sequence and voiceover, immediately I'm like, man, Kill Bill did that.
Yep.
And they did it great.
Right.
And then I think of like some of the other stuff you're saying about like everybody's cool, says the right thing. I'm like, dude, a couple weeks ago we were heaping praise on The Harder They Come.
Yeah.
Or The Harder They Fall.
Yeah.
Because of those things.
Right, I know.
Like they look cool. They say the right things. They're dressed right.
But it just doesn't back it up with the telling of the story. And it some of the way that when I said it's like Romeo and Juliet, and there's like family dynamics, and some of it's just so I don't know, it like the two families are big huge companies, and so everybody's super rich. So maybe it's just I don't understand that world possibly, and it's but it seems like there's no way that the dad, the leader of the family, could get away with saying some of these things or doing some of these things, or it just was like it wants to be so cool and so different that it's just not anything.
There was a movie about 20 years ago-ish that I remember when I was at the time working, and suddenly like one or two people were talking about this movie, and then they were like, dude, you got to bring it in. I got to watch it. And they're like sharing it and so excited about this thing. And I was like, let me see this thing. And I remember watching it going, oh man, this feels really kind of like self-indulgent and like almost pretentious and just kind of like too cool and too quirky. The Boondock Saints.
Oh.
And I know that there are people who
have like a cult following.
Love that movie.
Yeah.
So I'm watching that trailer to Die in a Gunfight, and I'm like reminded of the things that I was like, oh man, this person. Because there's an actual documentary you can watch about the making of the Boondock Saints that I find more enjoyable.
Right.
Because you see how much, was it Duffy, I think was his last name?
Yeah.
How he just gets this self-inflated sense of ego and importance, and all this kind of like, so that to me comes across in that movie.
Yeah.
And I've thought about that as I see other movies. I'm like, man, this person probably has a case of whatever they had, but I see that.
Yeah.
And so you're once you start, you're committed.
Yeah.
I'm not. I used to be.
Yeah.
I just somewhere along the line I just said, you know what?
My time is precious. It's not worth that time.
Luke, I don't know if you know this. You got one life.
Yeah. I know.
And I don't want to get to the point where it's measured in hours.
Sure.
And I don't want to. You're going to be on your deathbed, and you're going to be like, you know what? I would have loved 45 more minutes of my life back.
But here's the thing.
I should have quit.
Okay, so what would I have done with that 45 minutes? I probably would have watched something. I would have watched more Vikings, which would have gotten me through the series faster, which means I'd be, have, I don't know, who knows what I would watch instead. But it's fine.
Yeah, I can't.
So yeah, I mean, I would be interested if anybody else listening, if you saw that movie, if you loved it, I want to know why.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing the point of the movie.
I don't know. We looked at the YouTube comments.
Yeah.
For the trailer.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are people who feel a lot like
I agree. But, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I think once I was wrong.
Not in this office. I don't. Not on this podcast.
But yeah, so that's die in a gunfight. But to switch over to the other end of the spectrum, there was a movie on Netflix that's an older movie that I totally forgot about, and I watched Law Abiding Citizen with Gerard Butler, not Clive Owen, and Jamie Foxx.
Yep.
That movie is about a man that has something very brutal happen to his family, and sees a system that is not. I mean, it's the justice system kind of doesn't give him the full justice he wants, and and then the fallout of what happens. And it's interesting that movie. I forgot that movie, like, it takes place. You see, the first 15 minutes of the movie happens in one time, and then the rest of the movie is 15 years later, 10 or 15 years later.
Right.
And it's interesting seeing what happens in that movie, how much time went into this guy's thought of how he got to where he is,
and I feel like it would take that long before you're like,
absolutely,
I can't do anything hasty. That's one of those movies that I see it kicking around, and sometimes I'll flip to it on TV and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a pretty decent movie. Commercial break. And I'm like, crap, man, I got to record this and watch it again and just be able to fast forward through it. So you watch it on like Netflix?
Yeah.
I should revisit that one.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's good. There was things I forgot that happened because it's been so long since I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And you always remember like little parts of movies, but you don't remember exactly how they got to that part. And you're like, I remember this scene, but
wait, how is he going to get out of this again?
Yeah. And it's cool. It's good. It's very much a gray area as far as like, maybe moral compass is concerned.
Like,
and
I sympathize with him, but am I okay with everything he's doing?
Yeah, like there's very much he is doing things that are illegal.
Yep.
But he's doing them to try and expose problems in a system. And it's like, it's that whole idea, that is very slippery slope of nothing's going to change without action.
Right.
But what's the action that creates a change?
Yep.
But yeah, it was a good movie. It was a good movie to watch again. Other than that, man, really not much at all. But you said you had a lot that you've been watching?
Yeah. A handful of the Music Box series.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually a pretty cool series. I think we've talked about this a couple times, but it's like 30 for 30 for music. And it's not just like profiles of artists. Like,
yeah,
I know the first one was about Woodstock 99. So it was like this whole event and culture and all this stuff around that. So the other three that I've watched are Jagged, which is Alanis Morissette. And it's all about her at the time of Jagged Little Pill and what she came up against in the music industry and kind of what she was facing in terms of public perception of her.
Yeah.
And what she had dealt with to get to where she was. Was she, truly an overnight success? A little bit of backstory into her.
Mm-hmm.
Really quite interesting. And the reason I watched them all, even if I don't care for that particular artist, I'm just going to watch that for the storytelling.
Yeah.
And I liked her. And I remember, I mean, dude, she was everywhere.
Oh, for sure.
In the mid 90s. But it was pretty eye-opening in terms of what she ran into on her way up that ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of talks about the tour of that and kind of leaves there. And then it touches base where she is now. And it was really kind of nice because she's actually the main like talking head interview stuff.
Oh, cool.
So she is, the one that's sitting there retelling it.
Yeah.
Where it's not like you had to be there to experience it.
Right.
And it's just everybody, rock critics and whatever. But so I watched that one. And then I watched Mr. Saturday Night.
Oh, yeah.
Which is an interesting one that details the scene in the mid to late 70s leading into Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah.
And Grease. And how I think was his name Robert Grigswood. I might be getting that wrong.
Okay.
This guy was basically like a producer, and he was the guy who got Travolta a 3-picture deal.
Right.
And kind of moved him from TV into film, but more of like taking this story from the New Yorker.
Robert Stigwood.
Okay. And putting it into film, this idea. And it's interesting to see, a time where disco was a vibe, and like clubs and all that stuff. And then right up to the point where there's almost like a backlash against that. So it's not like a biopic so much on Travolta or the Bee Gees or anything like that, but it's more this guy, Mr. Saturday Night. But there's a lot of that other stuff that goes through that narrative. So that's a good one. And then Sunday I watched Listening to Kenny G. Oh. Which is another one where he is one of the main, he's a talking head. Yeah. But they also sit down with a lot of critics, musicians, critics, and talk about their perspective and their perception of him. Okay. And his music, and whether it is it jazz? Is it adult contemporary? Right. Is it sexy music? Is it boring? Why is there this big thing of like, why is there a lot of hate against Kenny G music or him? Is he in on the joke? Is he self-aware? What kind of a person is he? But you really kind of get to hear all of these different perspectives. And I thought I knew a little bit about who he was, and you see him show up in different things in like pop culture and social media, and you're like, oh, he's obviously self-aware. He knows who he is. And he's in on the joke and playing his role here. But there's other stuff where I'm like, man, this guy's kind of got a little bit of an ego or a perfectionist kind of thing. I mean, I can't knock him because he's sold 75 million albums. Yeah, and
something he's doing is working.
I purchased a couple of them along the way. And even like Miracles, the holiday album. Like, oh yeah, I forgot, that I actually really, when it comes to Christmas music, I like that because it's not, it's instrumental. Yeah. And it's just kind of chill. Yeah. And I think that's part of what goes into why he might have backlash, because his music is so kind of non-offensive.
Yeah, it's like muzak almost. Yes.
Yeah. And it's kind of like used for like weather channels.
Yeah, I mean,
dentist office, light rock places.
Like easy listening? Would it be like almost categorized in that? Because
the people ask him, and he doesn't have an answer, and he'll ask you, "What do you think?" Because I think it's all of those things, and so that trying to figure out where does it fit, but how do people in jazz feel about it? Is it jazz music? Is it did he get? And there's a point where they ask him towards the end, or he asks himself, "Did I get to where I am because I'm white?" would I have sold these records if I were black in the 90s? Would I have been afforded some of this kind of, this lifestyle, or have been given consideration for things? But it's pretty interesting because early on you're like, oh man, this is one guy who really likes himself, and then here's a bunch of critics this is just kind of like a hit piece against him, and how is this going to be balanced? But you see different things from everybody, and you're like, But so it is interesting because listening to Kenny G is, it's its own thing.
Sure.
But the idea of the title is you're also listening to him in this episode or this show.
Right.
I don't know how many more episodes there are for this Music Box series, but I'm in.
Yeah.
So it's 5 of them that I've seen so far.
Nice.
So if you haven't seen any of those,
throw
a dart at one of them.
Right.
Start. Actually, you know what? I would say start with the Woodstock 99.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be the one that might hold the strongest, memories.
Sure.
Most recent kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's it for me for movies.
Yeah.
I watched a series on Netflix.
Yeah.
Called Voir.
Voir.
And that is I want to say 5 episodes.
Okay.
But they are kind of like visual love letters or poems or stories from different people in film that visual essays, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So you pick a topic, or they have a topic, and they kind of stay with that theme. And man, if you're a lover of film, and not just like, oh, I like movies, but like if you're a lover of film and like the history, or if you look at a movie and you're like, that shot, I can identify that shot, or I understand why the writing for this character is this way, and rather than just like, yeah, man, I love the explosions and the action, and like, and that's not to cheapen anybody who thinks that way.
No.
But if you're like, dude, I'm a film lover. I see a vignette montage of different scenes, and I'm just like, God, that movie's so good. That movie's so good.
Yeah.
Watch these.
All right.
The first one is about 15 minutes or so of a woman who tells kind of like the summer of 75 with Jaws and how that imprinted on her.
Nice.
And how it spent, she saw it 40 times that summer.
Oh my gosh.
But how, like, as she watched it more and more, and as she's gotten older, she sees other things that she recognized. And what is it about film? And is it one of those, and then there's another one that talks about, our revenge characters, is it justifiable revenge? What makes us sympathize with somebody as opposed to look at them and go, well, you're no better.
Right.
How do you make somebody go through certain circumstances and feel sympathetic for them?
Right.
And like what goes into the writing of that, and how is that expressed on film? But all of these shows, as they talk, if they mention a movie or they show a movie as they do it, they show the title and the director. And there were a couple that I'm just like, man, I really need to revisit that.
Sure.
Or, ooh, I've never seen that. I need to check that one out.
Nice, yeah.
But it's from all over the world too. So it isn't
cool.
just kind of like, oh, these are all the blockbusters or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, Voir. And it's produced by David Fincher.
Oh, nice.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Dude he's somebody that when I think of like who makes good film, who tells stories.
Well, and who's a film lover. You can tell he is a genuine film lover.
Yep.
That's cool.
So, that is one that I've watched. And then I'm looking forward to this week is the finale or season finale of Survivor. It's a 2-hour one. They always do 2 hours, but this one, it sounds like they don't leave the island.
Oh.
Before, normally they will come home and then we'll announce the winner in front of an audience.
Sure.
It's from the commercial. It sounds like they're just going to announce the winner there on the island. So I don't know how that's going to work, or if that's the case. But Wednesday has become a very action-packed day for me.
Yeah.
Because I've got Hawkeye in the morning, and then Survivor, and then it's currently the new season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So I come home from work that day and I'm just like,
boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I don't want to say that's it for me, but
Yeah.
I mean, I have watched quite a bit. Luke, you had a note here about Halo Infinite.
Oh, yeah. So, Halo Infinite came out sometime in the last year. I want to say it was fairly recent, but I don't know. I didn't pay attention. I just saw hype about it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll check out Halo because it's on PC.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, it's been Xbox only, and I haven't had an Xbox in years. And then they came out with stuff for PC, but like this is the newer game, and I didn't realize it came out for PC also. But it's free. The multiplayer is free. You can pay whatever, like $60 for the campaign for the the campaign game, but you can just play multiplayer for free.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have the whole season aspect, and you can upgrade your Spartan suit and make it look different and add colors and all kinds of different stuff. But it's you're playing Halo multiplayer and it feels really good. Like I hadn't played Halo in a long time. I'd played, Call of Duty and Destiny and, a lot of these games that I think, were built on the back of Halo.
Yep.
But going back to play, where it all started, and the first time you pick up a needler,
yeah,
and you're like, oh man, I remember this.
Yep.
You charge at somebody with a plasma sword or something. It's just been fun. I've only played, a couple hours on it.
Yeah.
But it's fun to hop back in and have some of those same experiences with those weapons and the stuff and
mm-hmm.
Everything's slightly tweaked for a newer style gameplay. Everything's faster because
2 console generations later.
Yeah, man.
From the original.
Yep. And they've been making Halos ever since. It was Bungie for a while, and then it was somebody else, and it was back to Bungie, and so they've always had, but I haven't played any of the games in the last couple years.
Yeah.
And it's cool. It's cool to, be in these maps that feel very much like, a Halo world.
Yeah. Well, that's, to me, I love that. I love playing online games like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a certain point for me where it just becomes a little bit too much for me.
Yeah.
To where it's like, I don't have the time to memorize the map.
Right.
And learn all these spots. And
right.
when a game starts, I'm not leveled up to where some of these other people,
right.
And I'm not talking like streamers or
right.
like kids, but just general players. I'm just like, man, I don't feel like I'm balanced enough
right.
to do that. But I love a good, just me and a couple of my friends running around a level
mm-hmm.
doing that. And I remember Halo 2
mm-hmm.
was it that allowed for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so those kind of games, like to me, those walked so that Fortnite could run.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm intrigued by that. And I know that I really did enjoy Halo
mm-hmm.
as a series, and kind of moved into, PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I got away from it. And
yep.
my son, we had an Xbox, and he discovered
mm-hmm.
one of the Halo games a couple of years
yep.
Back.
Yep.
And so he would go over to his buddy's house and they'd play that. And his buddy's real into it. Like he's first year of college. He
mm-hmm.
named his dog Master Chief.
Yeah.
So he's like, loves it.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of excited to see it come back. And
yeah.
have you seen any of the trailers for like the Paramount Plus show?
Yeah.
So that's like, man,
I know.
It's a whole universe now.
I know.
And it's like, should I get back in?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I might have to check that out.
Well, I mean, it was a really easy jump in for me because it was free. And I don't know if on Xbox the multiplayer is free and you just play for the campaign, but you can get the multiplayer only from Steam. I just downloaded it on Steam and it was free. So
nice. And you'll be playing on Twitch at what
time?
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
People can like and follow you on Twitch.
Yeah. Watch me just die and die and die and die.
This guy sucks.
Yeah, pretty much. That's
he just learned it all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
man.
And spinning in circles, looking up.
He just spawned and they're like, dude, I think he's away from keyboard. Like he's just standing there. Like, I'm afraid to move.
Yeah.
Oh man. I might have to check that out.
Yep.
I don't really see any other notes here. I don't have anything else that comes to mind.
Yeah, me either.
It's a weird kind of quiet time in terms of other stuff.
Yes.
So I do feel like I am filling my time with passive media consumption.
Yeah.
But I know there's going to get a point where it's like the weather breaks again and I'm back outside. You know, we're only a couple of weeks away from the days getting longer again already.
I know.
I look forward to that.
And we're like a little over a week from Christmas now.
Yeah.
Which means like 2 weeks from New Year's. Like, this is a time of year where you don't do much, but you're always busy. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's where I am right now.
Yep.
Like, it's hard to pinpoint what I'm actually doing with my time, but it doesn't ever seem like I have enough.
Yeah. And then I get to Sunday night and I'm like, I didn't do anything this weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah. Who cares? Oh, well.
I mean, it's 10 till 5. And then,
yeah, it feels like it's time for bed.
I believe you. I mean, I'm cool with getting out of here and grabbing the pajamas and.
Yeah. Watching Die in a Gunfight.
No. How dare you? I'll pay you to do it again. What's your price?
Part of me wants to watch it again just to see, did I really miss something? Like,
oh, don't do that.
No.
Even if you start 5 minutes, you know what you're going to do. You're going to be stuck.
I know. I'm not
now,
going to.
Could you walk away after?
Absolutely. If I've seen it already, I have no problem turning a movie off if I've seen it. And I'm like, I've done that before where I've started a movie like, oh, I want to watch this, and I get into it. I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
My next question was, what if you turn on a TV and you just going through channels and then you just land on a movie?
Yeah.
Are you just stuck?
No. No. It has to be like from beginning to end.
Like, I can't get my TV off of TBS because all I do is watch Shawshank Redemption.
I've seen it 47 times this month.
Like, please, somebody change the channel before I get in the room because I don't want to watch this again. I feel you, man. All right, dude, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to reach out and contact you.
Yeah. I'm on Instagram and Twitter, Luke Gaul, Gaul.
All right. I'm on Instagram at Scott Webster, Twitter at SWebster77.
Yeah.
And if you want to give us feedback, anything at all, if you email us, contact us. We have some things here in the office.
We do.
As we're going through cleaning it up, we come across things we're like, no, I don't want to get rid of that.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to give it to somebody, a fan.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you think it's not worth it, you're wrong.
Just shoot us an email and say, I want something.
Hook me up. Send us an email with "hook me up" in the subject line.
And then we'll say, we have this, this, and this. What do you want?
Yeah. Or we'll send you a gift box that's full of
whatever.
Yeah. Or a bag of trash.
We might send you a bag of trash. That's not true. We won't.
No. All right, man.
Might be some old tech, though.
But yeah, have fun with something that runs Jelly Bean. Holds a charge for 2 hours and then dies.
Right.
But hey, free.
Right.
All right, dude, let's go.
All right, see ya.
See ya.